At your home, you probably have your books organized on different shelves. Maybe you have a shelf for cookbooks, another shelf for Bibles, another for Bible commentaries, and so on. By organizing our books this way, it helps us to find them quickly and to know exactly where to go. Well, Verbum has a similar feature, and it's very important because you may have hundreds or thousands of books in your library, and organizing them well can really help you hone in on your results. It's called collections, and it's what I'd like to show you in this video. I've done a search here in the search pane for prayer in all resources. Noticing I'm getting results in 1,607 resources, which is a lot. I'm going to want to try to restrict where I'm searching, and that's where collections can be really helpful. Verbum includes some pre-built collections that I can choose from. If I click on the All Resources menu here, I can choose to limit my search, for example, to just the Church Fathers. And now I'm getting results in just 272 resources. And if I scroll down, the results are all from the Church Fathers. And I could choose instead to limit my search to just the church documents, the magisterial documents, see what they have to say about prayer, or to the catechism and so on. But what if what I'm really after is something a little bit different, something that I want to search in a certain author or in a certain collection of books that have to do with a topic, but Verbum doesn't have a pre-built collection for that. What can I do then? Well, Verbum allows us to build our own collections, and there's two different ways you can do it. One is a quick collection, and one is a normal collection. So let's take a look at how we might do this. The syntax that we're going to use in either case is the same as that which we would use to filter our library. Say, for example, taking our topic of prayer, that I want to look at the books, search within the books by Thomas Dubay. I have 3 different books in my library, and I'd like to search within all 3 of them, but just in those books. I've typed in here a filter, author:"Dubay. And what that does is it's searching within the author column here for the word Dubay and filtering my library by only those books that have Dubay in the author field. This query here, author:"Dubay, I can copy and come over here to the search tab. And here where I clicked to choose Church Fathers, notice this search pane here. If I paste this query in here or type it in there, I get a filter of the 3 different books that I have in my library by Thomas Dubay, but also I have an option up here that Verbum gives me, and this is called a quick collection. 3 resources with author:"Dubay. If I click on this, now I'm going to be searching only within those 3 books. So I was able to immediately create a collection, a quick collection, that allows me to limit my search, and here are the results, to only these 3 works. And now I can go and study prayer in these 3 works and do different searches. Now this is a simple query, right? Author:"Dubay. But if I want to do a query that's a little bit more complex, I may want to use the collections tool. And I can find that up here on the tools menu. If I scroll down to the library section, you get the option for collections. And it says that it helps you to gather your resources together into groups that are meaningful for you. So if I open this up, I could immediately, for example, make a collection using the rule that I just pasted into the quick collections bar. Right? I typed in author:"Dubay, and I gave it a name, Dubay, and now I have a resulting collection with these 3 resources. And if I come back to my search pane, notice what happens. If I clear this search out, now down here below, I have a new section called Collections, and there's my collection, Dubay. And if I run the search, I get the same results that I had before. So what if you want to create a collection that has to do not just with a specific author, but with a topic that might be a little bit more common for a collection? Say we want to do the topic of spiritual life or spirituality. How might we do this? If I come back to my library, here I have these books by Thomas Dubay, and I've added the field Subjects. If you don't see that field, right-click on the heading bar of the library and turn on the option Subjects. You can then also drag and reorder these columns by simply selecting them and dragging them right and left. But notice here in this Subjects bar some words that might help me to search for and find books that are similar. Here we have the subject of prayer. Right? Here we have the subject of spiritual life, for example. These are all subjects that might be of use. I can also open up the filter bar here under subjects, and I will remove the author here to, again, just kind of scroll through these and see what type of subjects are being classified. Here we have spiritual life. If I click on more, I can see down here below mysticism. That might be of interest. If I click on more again, I can see spirituality and so on. So all these different subjects that might be of use, and I can simply begin to type in a filter. And to do so, use the name of the column, so subject, colon, and I'm going to type in, first of all, spiritual. And this will grab both spirituality as well as spiritual life. I can then add the word or, and type in subject again, colon, and then I can add in mysticism. And now I've got 102 results in my library. So this is a good start. And I could then scroll through here and see if I am missing any options here. I might want to add contemplation or maybe prayer. I could add or subject prayer or subject contemplation. And now I've got 125 results. This is a pretty good collection. I can copy and paste this or retype it into the collections tool over here. I'll click on new to add a new collection, and I'll call this spirituality or spiritual life. And paste my rule in here. And now you can see I've got a resulting collection. It's the same number, 125 resources that I saw in the library. Down here I have the option to change the views. I'm going to switch over to the details view. And again, I can add or remove different columns by right-clicking on the column heading. So I can add here the subjects field, for example, if I want to look at that here and expand the length of the columns. So now if I come back to my search panel, I can do a search here on spiritual life for prayer. And I'm getting only those resources in my library that have to do with spirituality or prayer life. So this can be a great way to pick a topic. You may want to think about what topics you might be interested in, a subject, and begin to create that shelf in your library that allows you to quickly research that topic. Now I want to share with you two more ideas about how you may want to use the collections tool. The first has to do with the searching in commentaries. I have here a text from the Revised Standard Version, Catholic Edition, Acts chapter 15, which is the Jerusalem Council, when from all across the church leaders came together to discuss the problem of how to deal with Gentile converts, right? What type of relationship should they have with Jewish converts to the Christian faith? And here we have the final resolution that the apostles come to. Therefore, my judgment is that we should not trouble those of the Gentiles who turn to God, but should write to them to abstain from the pollution of idols and from unchastity and from what is strangled and from blood. Kind of a strange and difficult to understand conclusion to this difficulty. Why did St. James and the other church leaders there come to this conclusion as the best solution for the problem? I have here a study Bible, the Ignatius Catholic Study Bible, which comments that the decree from the Jerusalem Council was shaped by the laws of Leviticus 17 to 18 that govern the conduct of Gentile sojourners living in the company of Israel. And it goes on to mention how in Leviticus 17 to 18, all of these topics that St. James proposed are actually mentioned. I'd like to go a little bit deeper into this. And what I'd like to do is search within my library all of those commentaries that have to do with Acts chapter 15 and see which ones discuss Leviticus 17 to 18. Now let me show you a trick as to how you can do this. If I come over here to the search pane, and I'm going to remove here this collection, instead I'm going to choose a quick collection called Type Commentary. And I have 255 resources in my library with the type commentary. And Verbum gives me an option here to limit which passage I want to study. So I'm currently set to all passages, but I can type in here Acts 15 and choose to only search in my commentaries when they're discussing Acts chapter 15. And now I can type in, instead of searching for prayer, I can type in Leviticus 17 to 18 and choose that from the drop-down menu. And now when I run my search, what's happening is that Verbum is searching in my commentaries, but only in those sections that have to do with Acts chapter 15. And it's searching for references to Leviticus 17 to 18. So here, for example, I can pull up this discussion by Fitzmyer about these 4 things that James would impose in their relationship to Leviticus 17 to 18. Now, what I want to suggest is that you can make a collection of all of your commentaries and your study Bibles so that you can very quickly do this whenever you want to study what commentaries have to say about a certain Bible passage. To do so, simply come over to your collections, and again, I'm going to click on New, and I'll call this Commentaries and Study Bibles. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to choose Type, and I had used the option Bible Commentaries, and this I'll need to put in quotes because it is 2 words. There's also some commentaries that aren't Bible commentaries, but I'm not actually interested in those right now, so I'm just going to use Bible commentary. And then I can say or type colon, and again in quotes, study Bible. And I have 238 resources that fit one of these 2 categories. Now let me share with you a tip about how to simplify this syntax a little bit. Whenever you have type colon commentary and then type colon and then type colon and so on, or with subject and so on, you can put all of the all of the text that you are searching for in parentheses and divide them by commas. For example, I can simply take Study Bible and remove that, the second or type. And after the first instance of type colon, I'm going to open up a parentheses, put comma, space, and Study Bible, and then close the parentheses. And this gives me the same 238 results. And the great thing about this then is I can simply add more commas, and I could say, I also want to include my Bibles, for example. And now I have 633 resources, and so on. I'm going to remove Bible because I'm not actually interested in that for this case. But now we have in the search pane, I can simply come over here whenever I like and scroll down to my collections and choose Commentaries and Study Bibles. And now I can choose whatever passage I want to study. In this case, I have Acts 15 and search within those. Let me give you one more recommended collection that I use all the time. Verbum has 633 Bibles in it. We just saw, or 400 and some Bibles in my library. Oftentimes you'll get a lot of results because you're looking for words that are in the scriptures, and a lot of those results that are coming back will be in the scriptures, which is great normally. But if you're actually looking to study what other people have said about the scriptures, maybe you want to exclude the Bibles from your search. And you can do so very easily using a collection. I'm going to come over here and create a new collection, and I'll call this All Except Bibles. And for a rule, what I'm going to use is a star, which indicates everything, space, and not. And the and not operator is whatever follows that is going to be excluded. So I will put and not space, type, colon, Bible. And now I have a collection, 1,993 resources in this case, of everything in my library except my Bibles. And I can choose that and run searches in it. If I'm getting a lot of results from the Bible that are kind of cluttering up my search results if I'm not interested in that particular group of texts. And you can use a similar technique to exclude certain results that are not useful for you at this precise moment. Down here, there are a couple options, a couple boxes where you can add individually resources or remove individually resources. And I just want to show you briefly how to use that. If we open up from the open menu here our Spiritual Life collection, one of the books that is missing in this collection is one of our books by Thomas Dubay. If I organize here by author by clicking on the column header, and I scroll down here to Dubay, you can see that there's only 2 books, and we had 3 books by Thomas Dubay in our library. One of those 3 books doesn't have spiritual or mysticism or prayer or contemplation in its subject. Now I can simply come over here to the library and filter by Dubay, and what I can do is simply drag this book over to the plus these resources section and drop it there. And now instead of 125 resources in my library, I have 126. And scrolling down here to Thomas Dubay, now I have all 3 of his books. Likewise, if there's a book in here that I don't want in the collection, I can simply drag it up into minus these resources. So as you can see, collections is an advanced topic, but it's a topic that you're going to want to use if you're using Verbum a lot, if you're doing searches, if you want to research a certain topic or a certain collection of books a lot, like an author. And I invite you, just like you would at your home, to take a moment to organize your books. It will save you so much time and effort and make your study so much more fruitful.